Welcome back to another episode of Sure to Inform. What is today's topic, Daryl?
Garrett, today's topic is going to be fraud.
So today, we will be focusing on banking fraud, and as usual, we'll answer the most frequently asked questions. And question number one for today, what is bank fraud?
So bank fraud is an illegal means to obtain your information. So there's malicious people out there, and they can go ahead and obtain information to use against your will for financial reasons or identity reasons.
Frequently asked question number two, how do these people get my information?
But your information can be obtained by a couple different ways. Some common ones, especially nowadays, is fraudulent phone calls or scam text messages. We all know we get those robocalls. It seems to be like 24/7.
Yeah.
And you definitely want to be wary when you're picking up your phone these days or answering text messages.
Yeah.
Another example of how your information can be obtained illegally is through phishing links or malware.
All right, and for those of us that don't know what those are, can you explain them a little bit?
Yeah, so phishing links and malware are two different types of scams. Phishing, somebody can be out there just throwing out information, trying to get you to respond with your personal information.
Right. Most commonly emails.
Right. You'll see phishing link emails. Malware is actually a computer virus that can be picked up on your computer through visiting sketchy websites or using internet browser. Most times you don't even know that your computer's been affected by malware until it's too late. So a major way that your information can be compromised is through debit card or ATM scanners. It doesn't even have to be on an ATM. There's people out there who have these card scanners, and what they do is they can pick up your card numbers by having a remote device, either at a point of sale terminal, at an ATM, or they could be walking around at a public event trying to skim your information. If you're going to be using an ATM, just pay attention and check out the ATM before you actually insert your card.
Right. Another situation that could lead to some information being leaked out is using public Wi-Fi, which I'm sure we've all done. You're browsing, you're at the store or something, you stop in a coffee shop and it's got Wi-Fi for you, which is great, but there's many other people that can connect to that, and there are some people out there that use it for malicious intent.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal just to be using a public Wi-Fi to check your feeds, but really public Wi-Fi is very susceptible to fraud.
Right. If it's not secure, it's better off not to use it if possible.
So arguably the most popular way that somebody could obtain your information is through a weak password. Now, we all know how many different passwords we have for all of our different stuff. And sometimes it can be frustrating remembering those passwords. Some people jot them down in a little book, which is not recommended because if you lose the book, then somebody has all your passwords. But weak passwords, do you have any examples of some weak passwords?
Right, I think at one point the most popular password in the country was password.
Password.
That's not a good one.
The password is password.
The most important thing is, it's sometimes frustrating to come up with a symbol, a letter, a capital letter, a lowercase letter, but it really is just for your protection. Frequently asked question number three, what are some signs that I have been a victim of bank fraud?
So probably the most obvious one is to check your bank account. You should always be monitoring your statements. If you see an unfamiliar transaction, something that you know for a fact you didn't do, or maybe you can't remember, it's best to contact your financial institution. Yeah, so another way would be a blocked login. This way, you try to log in, you see your account, see your online activity, and you're blocked. That's a pretty big red flag, and you'd want to contact your financial institution right away.
Another way to tell that your account's had some suspicious activity is if you go to swipe it, you're buying a cup of coffee, and it gets denied. Generally, we know somewhat a general idea of how much is in your account, and if it gets denied for something like that, there's either a chance that somebody else used it, and unfortunately they used all your funds, or your credit union or bank may have put a block on it because they suspected that somebody was using it for not great activity.
That's correct, yeah. A denied card transaction is a red flag, and you'd want to investigate that with your credit union. So probably the worst case scenario that your account has been a victim of fraud is that your account could be emptied out and balanced down to zero. Your account might even be closed out at that point. So we don't want to cause any alarms here, but this could happen.
Right.
Your credit union does have policies in place to prevent this from happening, but you need to be aware that your account could be drained And at that point, you would need to file a dispute and an investigation with your credit union.
Frequently asked question number 4. So what should I do now that my account has been hacked?
That's a great question, and there's a couple different steps you want to follow.
Right.
So first, you want to view and verify your account activity. Second, you're going to want to call your financial institution immediately.
Right.
And third, if possible, you can put a freeze or your own personal block on your account. And you can do that by most likely speaking with a representative from your bank.
Right. Right after that, after you freeze, change your passwords and change your PIN to make sure that anyone has any information, it's outdated and doesn't work anymore. Then check your credit report because there's a good chance they could have opened up something else with that information. And then finally, number 6, file a police report because someone stole your information. Finally, frequently asked question number 5 is how do I protect my debit card from going through fraud?
So with everything else, you want to be careful when using your debit card, especially with online purchases. You want to make sure that your debit card is never stored on the website.
Right. They're going to always ask you, and while yes, it's convenient, sometimes it's dangerous.
Very dangerous.
All right. So another tip for this situation is don't ever leave a blank space. And what does that mean? So when you use your debit card, a lot of times you have to write a total or even a tip or something like that. And if you have to write a total and the line, you want to write 0, don't put 0. Write either a line through it, put an X through it, because how easily that 0 becomes a 1 is just one stroke of a pen.
Somebody could change a 0 into 100.
Right.
That would not be good. So don't forget about contacting your institution. See if you can set up alerts for your debit card. I know that when I use my debit card or credit card, I get a text message alert probably within a couple seconds when that transaction gets processed. So you want to definitely set up alerts when your debit card is used. You can also think about setting up threshold limits, so over a certain amount or under a certain amount. But there are possibilities for you to set up alerts when you use your debit card. All right, so we all know this sounds scary, but it is something that we want to make you guys aware about.
Right. All financial institution, whether it's credit union or bank, will go above and beyond to protect your information and your money because that's really the most important part. But just to help us out, help yourself out, think before you click. If something's too good to be true, most of the time it is. So just be very wary of anything you see online or in a text message or any other ways that we've talked about it previously.
If you're going to choose to be a consumer, you want to be a smart consumer and you want to protect your own funds.
Right, and then we'll do our best to do our part, and hopefully all together, we create a nice little community of saving. That's it. Thank you for watching us again. This was
Sure to Inform.